Hey, today I'm going to be breaking down a reel that did 7.3 million views in the past couple of days. I'm going to show you line by line exactly what they did so you can do the same. If you don't know who I am, my name is Chris. I grew 100,000 followers in 5 weeks and have been sold out 6 months in a row. Short form content is all I do. So let's get to it. This is the reel right here. I downloaded it. You can see just by the first second, this is paused. The on-screen text hook is perfect. The two things that I want you to pay attention is the on-screen text hook and then what the verbal hook is. So I'm going to play it real quick right here.
People spray their perfume in the neck every single morning for years. I'm a cancer.
Okay, so that's the first line. That's her verbal hook. You can see the first thing that I want you to notice is stop spraying perfume on your neck. Here's why. That is her on-screen text hook. But then notice how her verbal hook is actually different to what is said here.
People spray their perfume in the neck every single morning.
People spray their perfume on their neck every single morning. That gives more context, but you can see how it says stop spraying perfume on your neck. That uses a two-pronged hook. So that is my favorite way to capture attention because this creates curiosity right away. We see and we read faster than we're able to listen because it takes a couple seconds for it to deliver. But because the fact that we can see right there, it says stop spraying perfume on your neck, we already understand the context. But the key thing to note is like the stop, the negative angle always works better than like do this, do that, because we don't trust strangers that tell us what to do. We trust strangers that tell us what not to do. So if I tell you that, hey, don't go over there, it's slippery, you're going to be like, oh, okay. But if I said, hey, come with me, I know a shortcut, you're going to be like, who the hell is this guy? So key thing to note is like always use negative angles where possible. So you can see stop spraying perfume on your neck. Here's why. So we already know the context. And then she used the second angle, which is just giving you additional context. People spray their perfume on the neck every single morning. That's perfect. That is the hook. You should also note how like she's placing the phone down. A little small action right there stops the scroll. The purpose of the hook I always talk about is just to create curiosity. It's not to deliver a context. It's not to jump into some sort of proof. It's just to stop the scroll. You are not on Instagram in order to learn. You're there to be entertained. So we need to capture their attention. YouTube's different. If you're watching long form like you are now, you're a lot more interested into like learning about like what goes into content. You might be looking for more information or whatnot, but on Instagram you're definitely not looking to do that. So we always want to just stop the scroll and build curiosity. Let's go into the second line.
People spray their perfume in the neck every single morning for years. I'm a cancer researcher.
Okay, that's the second line, right? I love it, because it's a super hook. So she started with her hook in order to create curiosity, and then the super hook is her second line. And what a super hook is she has to give us a reason to listen. You're scrolling on Instagram, like I said, you're looking to be entertained, you're not looking to learn. And so the creator essentially needs to give us a reason to listen to them, because otherwise I'm just going to scroll and I'm going to watch the next reel. So you can see right here, she is first, obviously she stops to scroll by the way she's dressed up. You already know it's some sort of medical professional. So that's like probably, unless medical content is all you consume, it's probably something unorthodox that makes you curious. But then the stop spraying perfume makes it relatable to you, because chances are you might have done this as well. If you have cologne or you have perfume, you probably have sprayed it on your neck. So the second she goes into her second line, she says, I'm a cancer researcher, right? So that gives you credibility. She's saying, I'm not just a nobody, because if I was the one that tells you, just made a reel, like a talking head, say like, hey, stop spraying perfume on your neck, you're gonna be like, who the hell is this guy? Like, why should I listen to you? But she has the full gear on. She's telling you exactly like what she does. So it buys her a couple more seconds in order for us to listen, right? So we'll play it next line.
I will tell you exactly why you shouldn't spray your perfume in your neck.
Okay, one line context. You see, it wasn't like, I'm a cancer researcher. 4 years ago I started studying and then a lot of people use perfume every single day. She just went into, I'll tell you exactly why you shouldn't do this. And that one line of context was just enough to establish, especially with short form, where every second is super valuable. It buys her enough time in order for her to get a couple more seconds, essentially. So let's go back and we'll play the first start again.
People spray their perfume in the neck every single morning for years. I'm a cancer researcher and I will tell you exactly why you shouldn't spray your perfume in your neck.
Okay. So that's done. And another thing I want you to know is like that it's a high TAM idea. It's a high total addressable market idea, which is essentially the key to educational videos that get a lot of reach. If she just said, if it wasn't about perfume, like perfume is something that like a lot of people use, right? Cologne, perfume. And so it applies to a lot of people, which means that it has built-in reach within. If it was, I can't think of something that's off my head, but if it was something like super niche, like if you tie your shoelace one specific way, I don't know, I'm just making this up. But if it's more niche, then it's just going to get less reach innate. So this idea has a high TAM, so which is why it also fuels the growth. We'll play it next time.
In 2025, a review in Frontiers of Toxicology already analyzed the health risk.
She goes into another super hook where she's leveraging more credibility, right? So she starts with a hook to create curiosity, super hook to give you reason to listen to her, and then she goes into one line of context. You're already perfectly hooked. Now she goes into her fourth line, which is like the leverage research. In 2025, there was this like research that was published
associated with like perfumes and other cosmetic products, which include, for example, formaldehyde releasing products, phthalates, volatile organic compounds, which are endocrine disruptors. So basically they mimic or block your hormones.
Okay, so that's like full net new value right there, right? Net new value consists of non-obvious and highly tactical insight. Right off the bat, she's using, leverage credibility to provide non-obvious insights, things that you probably haven't heard before. But I want to go back right here because I want you to catch the next line.
Basically, they mimic or block your hormones. Not only that.
Okay, not only that is also a rehook. But the key things to know is that you have to understand she is, I don't know if she's a big time content creator. Chances are if she's like a professional like this, I feel like this video is actually off the cuff, is not scripted. But things like this, like even when you're delivered, whether it's scripted or not, where it's like not only that, but it's not only this point, but it's actually not as strong as, the third point. Like these are hooks, like rehooks that capture your attention in order for you to lock in again. So she goes, delivered the research, and then she goes, not only that. So you're like, okay, it's not done yet. We still got more.
Several studies link them with infertility, respiratory problems, or even cancer.
Okay, so she's pushing a lot of pain points. I mean, this is also still net new value, nothing crazy or anything, very content related right here.
When we look at the ingredients of the perfume, you can actually grab your bottle of perfume and check it out yourself. We normally found the term fragrance, which legally is a way in which companies can hide thousands of chemicals without disclosing them as also.
Okay, so that's another net new value point, right? Second net new value point, which is like, we always use fragrance, and that's how like the companies hide it behind it, because like they don't have to disclose exactly what it is. It's just fragrance.
We never know. So two main problems here.
Two main problems here is a great setup, because that means we, not only are you going to listen to one, there's two. It allows us, it creates expectation of like, oh, what's coming after, so we know exactly what's going on.
The first one, when we spray, we can inhale those compounds which directly enter our body. But second, the neck is one of the highest blood flow in the body, and also the skin of
it's also continuing with net new value.
Our neck is quite thin, which means fragrance and chemicals can absorb deeper and faster, entering directly into the bloodstream. If we start thinking about the exposure of these compounds every day for years, that is the actual concern currently for scientists. I'm gonna let you some tips to avoid all this on the comments.
That's how the video ends. And the highly tactical part actually comes within her, like her comments and captions. She provided actual like actionable steps on how to kind of mitigate this. And that's where like the highly tactical applies. So net new values is like the core insights of what you're sharing. It always has to be non-obvious and highly tactical in order for it to work. So this is her entire transcript of the videos. The first line you can see, again, it's the hook. I'm going to show you the key points, because the structure remains the same for basically the majority of all viral reels. I look at these viral reels every single day, and they all follow the same pattern. So if you're able to replicate the same sort of structure and use the core elements that are always there, the chances of you succeeding and hitting, getting the views that you're looking for just goes much higher. So look at this. People spray their perfume in the neck every single morning for years. This is her hook. It doesn't create crazy curiosity, but the main thing you have to remember is like the way she put her phone down, the way she's dressed. So her setting, the set, right? And then the stop spraying perfume on your neck, that creates a lot of curiosity. So it's different to the typical talking head reels that you see, because like her on-screen text hook did a lot of heavy lifting for her in this specific reel. And then so you can see like her hook, this one was her hook, and then she goes right into a super hook, right? I'm a cancer researcher, that's what I told you. So it's her super hook, gives you a reason to listen, and then it says, I will tell you exactly why you shouldn't spray perfume in your neck. That is your context. And then goes right into a third line, which is like in 2025, a review, all of this stuff is the leverage credibility from the research. So she's leveraging that in order to create more credibility, and then uses one line to simplify it. So basically, they mimic or block your hormones. Is one short line that summarizes what was said above here. And then she goes into a but. Look at the key points I separated out. Look at this. So, but, so. And then the first one, but the second, you can see there's a lot of zigzag. It's not like in 2025 this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened, and then that happened. That would become a list. The but and so creates this tension, jagged tension throughout, where you think you have the full picture, but you don't. So she throws you the other side. So you can see what says so basically they mimic or block your hormones, but not only that. Several studies linked to all this is net new value, non-obvious insight. So we never know. So two main problems here. States the number 2, so you get rehooked. You know you're expecting two different things. Let me scroll down a bit just to make sure you can see. And then the first one, when we spray, we can inhale those compounds which directly enter our body. That is none of all the stuff she's continuing with, like the net new value, the non-obvious insights. But the second, right, there's one more. The neck is one of the highest blood flow part in the body, right? And our skin of our neck is also quite thin, which means we can absorb it deeper and faster, entering our bloodstream. More net new value. So if you compound that over several years, that's where like the concerns that happen. I'm going to let you know some tips to avoid all of this in the comments, and then you look in her comments. That's where she provides those practical tips. So just follow the structure. Hook, super hook, always give viewers a reason to listen. One line of context, don't overdo it. Keep it short, concise. They don't need a full essay. Leverage research where possible. And then just go right into the net new value, non-obvious, intact, highly tactical insights. If the viewer can't use, if have heard of the insights before, like they are obviously know, and they can't apply it today, it's not something that can use today and get some results, they aren't going to find your video valuable. It's not going to be true value. So focus on that. If you're looking to grow 100,000 followers this year, you should definitely check out this video. It's called the 100K personal brand plan. It's the fastest way I know in order to add 100,000 educational based followers that are going to turn into leads and clients every single week. I outlined the different stages and each individual steps in order to get there. So check that out. Catch you on the next one.